episode is brought to you by Euro Shorts. That's right, Euro Shorts. They look like underwears, but they're not. Also, brought to you by cannabis. I don't really have a joke about that. It's just it's a smoking show. I don't know. Anyway, okay, here's a song. Let's see. Oh, Sheila, 1, 2, 3. I love you, baby, honestly. Tweedledee. Tweedledee. Break it down. And now here they are, your invenerable host, I guess, Carlos Kareem.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
It is 4:21. Let's do the thing. What's it? How is every little thing? How are you today? We made it through another week. It is the 53rd day of being locked in for the Ronas. 537th day of being here locked in for because the Ronas. The people in the streets are still fighting in the streets, especially here in Portland. And guess what? There is you're seeing now, if you haven't seen it before or didn't know, the federal police weren't actually the problem with all the racism here. Our police do the same thing, and they're even worse. But guess what? We have friends who will help. If you have the desire to help to keep the protesters out of the streets, do me a favor. Could you please look up portlandfreedomfund.org, P-O-R-L... see, we messed it up again. Let's do it again. portlandfreedomfund.org, portlandfreedomfund.org. That's where you can find out about how you could volunteer. That's where you could find out about how you could donate a shekel or a dime or whatever is the currency that you happen to prefer the most. You know what? I'll bet they'll take a Bitcoin if you got it. And this is how you keep the real freedom fighters out of the jail. This is also how you keep the real victims of bail bond and, of course, the prison industrial complex out of jail. They haven't wraparound services yet, but they will if, in fact, you donate and get down. And that is who we were talking about today. How's everybody? We have had quite a week or two, have we not? I'm liking my top. I'm liking the way everything's going. This camera feels weird. Is that too? No, that's too low. That's too high. That's too low. That's too high. How about that? How's that? Is that good? There we go. That's perfect. Right there. Got it. We got it. Everything's fine. It's good. It's good. Perfect. That's why they say to don't give up the good in search of the perfect, which I'm still doing. Cause hard head, soft ass. Had a fun time with my guest yesterday that we had a talk with Shauna L. Howard. That was fun. It is fun to be able to talk about the magic of blackness, the magic of the black aesthetic, and ways that we can survive that. Not survive with it, through it, because what we are surviving is, of course, white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, and it's trying to kill us all. So that's delightful. That's delightful. Shout out to Bloom Dispensary, BLOOM. They're here in Portland. No real formal relationship, but they do have it hooked up for your girl. I am very happy with that. Lots of someones were asking me about that idea, about the fact that I often refer to myself as your girl. And that is because as I've shared with some of you before, one of our past guests, Ray, uh, helped me to get past, I think, what was one of the last barriers in my fully being able to embrace my gender identity when I had given a seminar on race, class, and gender, specifically around anti-blackness and gender, and gender roles and hypermasculinity, toxic masculinity. And it was after that workshop that I was asked if I would be comfortable being referred to as auntie. Thank you. Yes, because I have for my entire life been somebody who, at the end of the meals, at the end of the family gatherings, I'm in the kitchen with the aunties. I'm in the kitchen with the Grammys and the aunties, and with the cigarettes and the coffees, cleaning the stoves. That's what it is. And you know, it means lots of things in terms of my own freedom. I mean, it means fashion. It means having an aesthetic. It means not stinking all the time, not being no longer. I had a phenomenon that many male presenting people might be familiar with, of especially those who were raised as boys, going into rooms and having this experience of looking all of the other men up and down and wondering whose ass could I kick and who could kick my ass. And then like playing out the scenarios in my head and coming up with this sort of like John Wickian bullshit. I'd pick up my pen and like and somehow like get it right in one of these men's eyes. Is where the truth is that if I did something like that, it would just kind of like bounce off their face and piss them off, and they would probably want to kick my ass even more. Um, Also, I have never walked into a room even once and actually had the experience of everyone in the room deciding that it was time to kick my ass, even in circumstances where that might have been the truth. I've talked to you about the tattoo that was given me by skinheads, Nazi skinheads. It's a shitty tattoo, but I'm alive, as you can see. It was my first one a long time ago. Went to school with skinheads. I did a doo-wop routine with this kid. We were in remedial math class together because math, and the way it was taught, my brain, no. Mostly because racist teachers, even though, we invented math and, Arabic numerals and all the things. But no, it didn't stick then, but it did stick with me that I did do a doo-wop song with my my skinhead classmate who was sitting next to me, because we both hated authority, and as a pretty little poser boy theater negro as that still had meant that I had more in common with hating our teachers with a skinhead than I did with understanding any part of why that system would want us to be there, much like the Betty DeVos's and the Kanye Wests would love us to be out there doing the thing right now, in terms of getting back to school with our children. Mm. If you have one, or somebody who does have one in your life, don't send your kids back to school, please. COVID is a cold. It's a cold germ. And if you have children and have been in the schools, I am from a family of educators, you know that the first 3 months is literally just everybody passing a cold around. Don't go back. Don't let them trick you. Don't let them trick you. That's my 2 cents on it. My 2 cents. I am going to keep smoking. I wanted to share just a couple very short things with you today. And this never goes the way I think or hope. I love and appreciate, first of all, that so many of you are willing to rock with me on these days when we are jumping out of a plane without a parachute. There's no script. There's no ideas. There's no nothing. There's you and me and having a little time and some cannabis that we're going to ingest in however ways you see fit, unless that's why you're not here, and not why you're here, and you're just here for silly Billy time, and then you just are here to watch me do this, and that's fine, I guess. Although a little enably and weird, but okay, that's okay. Um, I'm wearing. I like to be vulnerable. I like to share. I'm going to tell you. I'm wearing underwear. This is the first day, I think, in how many? It's been 5 months. So month is about 30 days. Or whatever, 30 is about 580 days, give or take. First day since that I have worn underpants. And it feels pretty good, pretty lifted and separated in ways. And the reason is because I am rocking Euro shorts with my sweater. No, it's true. Look at check, peep. What you can't see, I have little shorts on, and these little shorts and Euro shorts generally, as many European cuts of clothing, are not made for the ethnic body, in particular black ones. And while I do like the height, the thigh meat height of this short, what it also means is that the front part of the short, it leaves something to be desired, such that when I sit whilst wearing them, there are levels of separation and roaming that are not, it's not okay. And also too, just, you don't, no one needs it. No one needs it. The bell end is private business. We don't need to stuff it into a short for everybody's viewing. And so everything's sort of lifted and hoisted. Is that a hoisted? That's a sauce of some sort. There's no sauce. All of that to say that as even as I put on my underpanties, I did think to myself of the time that that my sister had first seen the brightness of the colores of my underpanties, and said to me, "Nice panties." And well, the truth of the matter is, I I had not worn a tighter short prior to this moment in my life. And what I discovered, as so many can, if you so choose, and it was at the suggestion of a person I was seeing, that for the bunching that can sometimes happen, I was at the wrong underpants store. If you go to the underpants store where shop the male scrippers and the gaymen, you will see what you may have thought of as a Floridian underpant. I've heard it called a banana slang. This is a situation that if you are a person of a certain size, you should consider. I'm just saying, because then you can wear a Euro short without it looking as though you are trying to smuggle fruit out of the produce section. I'm happy to be able to wear a Euro short just because I do like to show a little thigh meat, as I said. We've talked very loosely. I've talked around it. I've talked around the sexualities. I've talked around the sexualities that I hold with you before, because as I've described, I am not one who is awfully concerned with the particular sexualities of the people with whom I am not engaging in the sexualities, and so have never really felt a need to expose my sexualities to anyone, because why? Unless you, also, as I've said, serial monogamist. And as I am seeing Novieks, of whom I'm very, very fond, and deeply so, there was nothing in me feeling a way about needing to expose such a thing. And I realized that one of the things about representation and identity that does matter deeply is that when there is representation, it allows for the baby queers across the spectrums to see themselves in different spots in the different stars in the constellation. The queerness is like a constellation, and there are different kinds of stars all over it. And in particular, the freedoms therein have been being elevated and presented by younger generations. It's not as though there have not been folks around the spectrums the entirety of humanity, because there have, and even in the 80s and 90s, when it was very repressed. Very repressed, because it was okay for there to be an Adam Ant. It was fine for there to be a Prince in the world, even a Rick James, if you like. You could have a Pat Benatar here and there. What you could not do is actively walk around dressed like any of these folk without having horrible things screamed at you from buses, public buses and such, allegedly by your best friends. So when you're young, so because you didn't take off your theater makeup, so and you like the way it looked, so and he was in theater too, but now he was with his butch friends getting ready to go to the kegger, so he thought it was important to distinguish himself from somebody who would walk around looking as beautiful on stage as off, and off stage as on, and for whom the entire world was just my runway. There was a time that my mother suggested once that I dress a bit too much and maybe would want to tone it down. And I think the phrase was, think about dressing for your audience, which, quite frankly, I do. It's an audience of one, and it's me. And I like to feel fabulous. I like to feel fabulous. I like to feel jaunty. I like to feel dandy. I like to feel all of these things in different degrees. And it's freeing. The first time my god sister had seen me in one of my wool coats, a bit more structured, although asymmetrical and pink, her response, of course, I had my leopard heels on. Of course I did. What are you talking about? And her response was, "Oh shit, there she is. Thank you." So the the affirmations that I've been receiving, also from the youngs, as I said, let me know that offering this clarification is a thing that can't possibly hurt. Could help some other people. I am still hesitant with it because I like it being an enigma. But it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I am a gender fluid person who I discovered through trial and error, the error's all mine, is not a gay man. I am not gay. I am somebody who prefers the sexualities that are attached to not penises. And not that is a thing that necessarily belongs to man, woman, or other, which is why I did not say. It's just not my thing. And I've listen, listen, listen. Do I know whereof I speak when I say, no, it's not my thing. I know it's not my thing. It is not to say that it is a better or worse thing that I have been into the things that I have been into in my life. I will say this, though, if we're being perfectly honest, I don't know if it is straight, gay, or other to fuck a couch. Because my first sexual experiences were with inanimate objects like couches and bottles and walls and beds and pillows and do you know it was just a feeling. I just liked the feeling. It didn't have anything to do with anything. It just liked a feeling. And then one day there was a girl, one of my very many girlfriends, of whom I have very many because again I don't really like dudes, um who was doing a thing, talking, and I looked at her and something in my head went, "Ooh, I like those." And but in a different way than I had ever liked a person before, and that was I was in like the third grade, so I knew from then that I definitely was into girls. But I'm like into girls. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not into boys. I like some things about my own masculinities, and I accept and embrace. I'm learning to embrace. I don't embrace. That's not true. I'm learning to embrace my masculinities as well because I do believe that there has got to be some value in that as well. But all that to say, um it is confusing for everyone except for the lovers that have been in my life, and in particular for the lover who is in my life, who helps me to feel seen and present. And they are fabulous. And it is fabulous to feel seen and present. And if my being open and vulnerable helps anybody else to feel seen and present, I do love it. And I'm gonna confess one other thing. I I have a bit. I have dealt with it, but I grew up with quite a bit of an inferiority complex because I'm not gay. Oh my God. If I were gay, all the types of gay I would be. I couldn't stand myself if I were gay, quite frankly. That might be a bit too much. I would be so gay. You have no idea how gay I would be. I would be watching that a cappella group gay, that one with the young people in it. I'd be that gay. I would be I would be out at the new Queen at Queen now Queen with the child from Adam Lambert from the Star singing show. I'd be there. I'd be there. I would be shellacked. I would be shellacked in jism and frozen in amber like a like one of the straight boys precious toys that you're not allowed to touch or play with that they keep in the original packaging. I would be the gayest gay if I could gay it up. That's what I would do. I would gay it the fuck out. Just everywhere. I would gay there and everywhere that I went. Everywhere that I went. Primarily, um, because I know how much it pisses off cis people. And I don't, as I said, like them very much. I don't care for them. I used to, me and my friends, and some of them are het, some of them are heteronormative in their sexualities. Me and some of my friends who do present as male in college, we used to make out on the stoop of the fountain, simply to upset straight boys and to make sorority girls go, oh, that was and it's fine. It was fine. I didn't get turned on was the thing. That's how I kind of realized, oops, this isn't a thing. But it was I like the feeling of the whiskers. Those are nice on the lips. I get it, ladies. I do. I get it. Uh, but this whole thing of definitions and locking it down and it being a forever circumstance and situation and what have you in terms of our gender expression and our sexualities. I have a god sister who I told I had to have been, I'm going to say about 26 years old. That we were standing on a beach, and I had a shawl over my shoulders. And I looked at her and I said, I'm very much looking forward to being an old man in a shawl and a dress, just looking at the beach. And she said, Lapa. And I said, yeah, okay. I mean, you can masculinize it all you want to, but I'm talking about a dress. I am not talking about a lapa. I'm not talking about a tunic. I'm talking about a dress and a shawl, and it's going to be lovely. And I basically just moved the timeline up a bit because it just doesn't seem to serve to keep oneself restricted to what uh frankly, anything that Donald Trump supports. If he's for it, I'm against it, and he's for real tough guys. So it is, and I'll tell you something else. I am aware that I flit around quite a bit, and that I talk with my hands. I'm very expressive. As you know, we talked about this yesterday as I was holding my "Nobody Knows If I'm Gay" coffee cup. Was that yesterday? 2 days ago. Cup. That that was a gift from my family. This is not. None of this is particularly new. Do you know what I'm saying? It's simply just that, like, I instead of keeping the volume turned down so far the way that I had in my past, so that I would have to disguise all of the lovelies that I liked with some kind of gross hypermasculinity thing to it. That you could smell good, but it has to be Burberry cologne, kind of bullshit. The further and further and further I find my freedom, I realize none of what you're seeing is new. I literally, 13, swallow the knob. That's it. And let's let it be fabulous, because life is too short not to be fabulous. And if he has his way, your president would have it be that much shorter. And I'm not for also the stress of holding back who you are and hiding and masking yourself and masking your identities. Let me tell you something. That's going to make your life shorter too. It's going to give you, you know what it's going to give you? It's going to give you angina, which is not actually any level of a stinky pee-pee part at all. That is not to do with gender at all. Angina is, it's going to make your heart be tight on you. And it could make your breath short and all the things. And the first few times you say whoever and whatever it is that is your truth out loud, that could make your breath short too. That it really could. It will. It will. It's scary. But what I'm saying is, if it's scary, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Because freedom is better than not. Except, of course, if you are particularly endowed and you don't want to be a gross, molesty looking person, but also want to wear short shorts, Euro short shorts, in which case, wrap that up. So that was occurring to me. The other thing that occurred to me, and I'm going to keep it short today, but I was thinking about the upset that so many white, you know the kind of whites I'm talking about too. You know the whites I'm talking about. The way so many of the whites. If you lean into that H really heavy, it freshens your breath like a York peppermint patty. White. It feels like being on top of a mountain in the Alps. Like the springs are alive. White. I know it's hills. Fuck you. So the white, the bad ones, the ones that make you say the H. The white get very upset about the idea of there being, Black History Months and Black History museums. And I'm sure they are not excited about Black August, which they would be learning about now, I'm guessing, as would many of you good liberal whites who just learned about Juneteenth. That Black August, I am just anticipating the DM coming my way asking me, well, what about White August, nigger? And how come there's no White History Month? And so do you know what I think? I think I'd like to establish a White History Month. I would like to establish a month, 1 month every year, where we examine the history of whiteness, and we can make all of the liberal whites watch Birth of a Nation, and we can look at Shirley Temple in blackface, and we can look at Judy Garland in blackface, and we can look at Ted Danson in blackface, and we can look at pictures of your Grammy smiling at lynchings, just looking at burning bodies. I think it's going to be very special. I think it's going to be very special. We can choose a different white historical figure who is just out-whited whiteness every day. And I'll bet you if we look at and examine history, no matter what month of the year we choose, I bet you I can find a white terrorist and barbarian and or slaveholder for every single day of any month of the year that you like to choose. I will even let white people choose. If white people don't want to celebrate White History Month for a very long period of time, you know what? Fine. I'll trade. Let's trade. You get February. We'll take November. We can celebrate but you know what? Better yet, give us January. Let's open every year with a lot of blackness and then after January, how about in February? That can be Filipino month. Well, no, that's your month. We just gave that to you. Fuck it. Okay. January Black month, February White month, March Filipino month. Then we'll come back to the rest of the year can just be Native American calendar year. And then we can talk about the meanings of what's a Chicano and who's a registered Indian and what about the BIA, and hey, let's talk about the 7 civilized nations and all. We can get into the distinctions. Are the black natives of in Louisiana, shouldn't they be a tribe now by this point? Shouldn't they be recognized by the federations? We can talk all that shit. We'll sort it out. But the whites, you're not allowed at that conversation. You're not there. You're because of all the colonialism. So you got to stay home. But you got February. You got 28 days every year to let it shine. And then, 2, I'm going to open up a White History Month. And, White History Museum. I'm going to open a White History Museum. And in my White History Museum, we will feature the way that y'all had human zoos and Hitler's skin lamps, and we can talk about we can move from Mount Vernon the teeth of the enslaved Africans that are still on display that George Washington used to make his denture set, and we can. It'll be displays everywhere like that. The first noose a white man ever made, we could put that up. Woo, it's gonna be a pretty museum. And the best part is, we will charge white people $40, and people of color can go in for free. And the reason that we can go in for free is because we will automatically be able to be your museum guides and tell you just exactly what all of it is and how horrible you are. I think we can make it happen. I think we can make it happen. And then we can write White Lives Matter and Long Live the KKK and draw swastikas and hang Confederate flags all over it. It's going to be lovely. What? Who's already doing it? Are you sure? Oh. So those are the... Okay. Well, I'm being told those are actually the plans for those are already the plans for the Trump Presidential Library. So I guess not. I guess not. Last thing, this whole thing with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion making a song about moistened lady genitalius is causing some stir on the internet by all of the male peoples who are now screaming, hey, treat and train your women's betters, and all of the women's peoples, straight ones, who are saying, hey, why are you being so much of a hoe? Don't do that. You're messing up the ladies' sexualities. And here's the thing. Me myself, as I said, and I'm just admitting it out loud. I'm just saying it out. I'm coming out. I find women attractive. I do. And I can say this. These women's and this standard of beauty is not one that resonates for me personally, right? This is not an aesthetic for me. I am not the audience for this. Just as I am not the audience for Bianchi, nor RuPaul, nor any of the hyper feminized looks associated and born of the trans community that have filtered into so much of popular culture because of queer communities, queer Black communities, and have us living in a world where white gay men are talking like Black gay men who are talking like young Black girls. And we're in this cycle where, you know, culture is very messy and gender is very messy and very fluid. And what I know is this, that the people who this upsets and pisses off, they're pissing off the right people, and so I'm on their side. So I'm here for it. I can't sing it. I watched it once. I was going to try to sing it just now, and I think anything I would have said would have sounded wildly offensive, and it's certainly not meant to be that. So, anyway, if you are a one of the peoples, especially one of the Black peoples who is objecting to the sexualities and the reclamation of sexualities that my friends are displaying in their new video and with their new single, what I would suggest to you is that what you are practicing is white supremacist, colonialist, pilgrim kind of sexuality that will leave you a very, very vanilla life, and is probably why you wear those cargo shorts. Ooh. Hey, guess what? This has been another episode of Smoke and Mirrors. If you want an episode, I don't know. If you want to support whatever this nonsense is, it's so many ways to do it. And the way that I'd like you to do it the most is to just share it with a friend or share it with an enemy. I'll take their hate watch. I don't give a shit. The other way you could do it if you wanted to really like get down there and I'm never going to bogart. I'm never going to keep this away from you. I will always offer it and I will always offer it for free until we are allowed back out of our houses because these assholes started wearing their masks. If though you wanted to be one of the suppliers, if you wanted to provide a little bit of the smoke, a little bit of this goodness that we're giving to the people, and provide a way for it to keep happening without a whole lot of stress and anxieties, what you could do is you could become a patron of the arts. Let's call this art. Why not? And you could do that at Patreon at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. This was done by Kristen, Renice, Michael, Natalie, Juliet, Tarika, and Tracy. Kristen, I'm sorry I called you Christian. They're just on my mind right now. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean anything by it. This has been Smoke and Mirrors. Do you know what? If you have a question, if you have a thought, if you have a query, if you have a guest that you would like to see on this program, and under the philosopher's tree with me, just talking about the bullshit, write it to me. Write it to me at Smoke and Mirrors CCB. Of course, I am seeing all of the people who are writing to me in my DMs. That's great. Guess what, though? I'm going to lose those messages. If you have a thing and it's an idea, send it to me there. Send it to us over there. It's a team. We're doing it. We're looking at them. I promise we're gonna respond if you write there. Hey, if you want to see some IG pictures, though, you could look at those at El Caballo Negrito. If you want to see some Twitter words, you could look at those at Caballo Negrito. If you wanted to put 5 on it, but did not want to make the commitment, I just saw a 5 on it remix. It's an East Coast thing. It's new. It's fucking horrible. If you wanted to put 5 on it, you could do that at Venmo, Carlos Wyndham. You could do that at Cash App, $CK Wyndham. You could do that at PayPal, me, period, or dot, CK Wyndham. This is a thing that is produced by myself. It is hosted by myself, Carlos Kareem Wyndham. This is produced by Tracy Tatamy. And yeah, we're here. This is the end of the week. Do me a favor. Have a great weekend. Would you please take care of each other? Take care of yourselves. Would you wash your hands? Do not go outside. If you do go outside, wear a mask. Cover your fucking mask hole, for God's sake. Why? Because we like to see you here in 2022. All right, I will be back next week. There may be some folks under the tree with me next week. There may not. We are scheduling some very exciting things for you, and I can't wait for you to see it. I love you. Bye.